I see everybody as a partner. There's an opportunity for us to build together.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Instead of apart and being in your own personal lane and silo. You know, if there's money out there, let's go get it together.
Yeah.
Hey, there's enough for all of us to eat. We may be able to put a, you know, outfit together that make us stronger so we can go after, you know, sky's the limit.
Bigger and better.
You know, bigger and better.
Absolutely.
So,
This your boy, Ty Corbitt, host of the No Excuse Podcast. We'd like to welcome you in. And if you want to learn more about staying motivated, staying tuned in, this is the place to be. We make no excuses for being great. So from mindset to motivation, from entrepreneurship to being helpful in your community, this is the place to be. Watch, look, listen, and learn. Stay tuned in. Today, we have a special guest, the newly appointed operations director of the Goodwill Easter Seals Miami Valley, Mr. Lavar Glover. He is responsible for overseeing day-to-day operations for the Community Service Center in Trotwood, Ohio. As director, Lavar is among the executive management team of the GESV SMV and co-director of the ALL Club program, an advocate and champion for the community connection and building relationships. Lavar brings more than 12 years of experience in coaching, mentoring, facilitating, and serving the community. Lavar's background is certainly unique. He was selected in the 2002 NFL Draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go Steelers.
Black and yellow.
All right, black and yellow. And eventually made his way to the Cincinnati Bengals. That's my team. After his time in the NFL, Lavar spent 6 seasons playing in the Canadian Football League, the CFL, where he was Grey Cup champion in 2006 and recipient of the Heart of the League Award for leadership and service. Amazing, amazing. After retiring from professional football, Lavar pursued a lifelong passion of working with youth by creating the Glover Youth Program, which provided residential care, life skills, development, and mentoring for foster kids and vulnerable population. In 2011, his work as tireless mentor was recognized when he received a mentoring collaboration Mentor of the Year award. Once again, great accolades. In each of his endeavors, Lavar keeps his focus on giving back to the community. He served as a manager of the economic inclusion for the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce, Minority Business Partnership, advocating for supplier diversity and working to grow minority women and veteran-owned businesses in the Dayton region. Served as a director of self-sufficiency for Miami Valley Community Action Partnership. During his time with Miami Valley Community Partnership, Lavar was instrumental in developing synergy and awards around the Get Head and Bridges of Poverty initiative in the Dayton region. Those programs effectively assisted families in need and received national attention for exceeding participation goals. Lavar is also an active board member for the Miami Valley Nonprofit Collaboration and co-founder of the Football 101 for Women, which is a national fitness boot camp and supports breast cancer organization initiative. He was also recently selected as the board member of Crayons to Classroom organization. Please, let's give a warm welcome to Lavar Glover.
Wow. That was a great introduction, man. It was great.
Man, you have a lot that you have done in a short amount of time. You are amazing and such an asset to our Dayton community. And I'm glad to say that you're back home and you're giving back to our community. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, it's definitely been a journey that, I have much gratitude about. I've always wanted to contribute to my community and give back in whichever way I could, because so many community members gave back to me, whether they were teachers, coaches, you name it. So I'm just here trying to do my part.
Well, great. So today we're kind of gonna, I kind of want to touch bases and talk about the resources in the community. I know you guys are doing great things, and we do a lot of partnerships with you, working with hosting events out at the Goodwill Easter Seals location. And you guys are doing a phenomenal job out there. Your building has been open now for a little bit of time. So can you just kind of tell us a little bit about the resources you guys provide there?
Yeah. So our community service center out in Trotwood is an extension to Goodwill Easter Seals, as everybody know. And a lot of people don't know that Goodwill offers programs and services for people in need, people that have experienced some type of barrier in their life. So a lot of people know about the retail or the donations, but Goodwill has 3 divisions, and one division that I work within is programs and services. Mm-hmm. And so our mission is to empower people with barriers, essentially. Those barriers come in different shapes, forms, and fashions. And in this platform, we're meeting people where they are. We're helping people overcome barriers. That barrier may be, they may be aging. Mm-hmm. So we work with our seniors. They may have some type of developmental disability, whether it's mental or physical. They may be formerly incarcerated or in poverty. They may have some type of mental health barrier that keeps them from gaining, employment. Mm-hmm. And so we work around those services. We help people overcome barriers.
Amazing. So as being, and I kind of want to go back a little bit, because I know when we ran through the list of amazing accolades that you do, one of the major ones that I was always pointed out to me is you were an entrepreneur yourself. And growing up, did you see entrepreneurship early? Was that something that you seen? Like, was your father an entrepreneur? Was your mother an entrepreneur? Was that brought to you at a young age that make you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Man, great question. I didn't see that growing up. I saw a lot of things, but that wasn't it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, my parents were factory workers, man. So they did the best they could, mm-hmm. To make ends meet, and it wasn't always bright, growing up. But that actually came as a passion, man. How I started the Lavar Youth Program. That came about because of my lived experience. Okay. And so a lot of people don't know, man, but I raised my younger brother when I was in college. And so because of at-home circumstances, mm-hmm. I was tasked with that responsibility. And that's what kind of led to my passion to work with youth. Okay. And one thing led to another. And as I was transitioning out of playing professional sports, I always knew that I wanted to give back. And particularly, I wanted to have my own youth center. Okay. And so that's how the Glover Youth Program came about. I didn't even look at it from an entrepreneurship lens. Okay. I just looked at it as, hey, this is my passion. I want to work with youth. Mm-hmm. My brother was seconds away from being in foster care. Okay. And so that's kind of that kind of led me to that direction. Mm-hmm. I wanted to, be who I was to my younger brother, which was a mentor, which was, a coach, a father figure. I wanted to give that back to somebody else, man, because I saw every kid that I worked with. I either saw myself, but I definitely saw my brother in them. So that's what kind of led to that.
So circumstances allowed you or put you in a position to say, I want to be an entrepreneur, and led you to that direction.
Yeah, circumstances led me to gaining legal custody of my younger brother. Okay. Which kind of, gave me that vision. Okay. Saying one day I want to own my youth center. I got my degree from University of Cincinnati, mm-hmm. criminal justice. I wanted to be a police officer at the time, uh-huh. and I wanted to own my own youth center. And so as years went on, playing pro ball and just needing something to transition from ball, that was a natural outfit for me. Mentoring, coaching, talking and motivating kids. And so I said, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to work.
Did you feel like there was a lot of resources that were out there when you were actually looking to start your business? Was there a lot of resource providers that were easily accessible for you at that time?
There may have been. I just, I didn't even approach it with that mindset and, with that mindset in mind. I wish I would have tapped into the ecosystem of what you see today. You know what I mean? On how to, put together a business plan. One thing that I did have, which helped me along the way, is, my experience of playing pro ball. I did have a certified accountant.
Okay.
I had an attorney. Great. You know what I mean? I had a tax guy. So I had those people already in place.
Okay.
So when I wanted to start the business, hey, I need commercial liability. I went to my insurance guy. Hey, I need to write up some type of agreement. I need to establish my, my incorporation. So my attorney and folks handled that for me. And so those were the resources I had.
So if you didn't have those, do you think it would have been really difficult? Like if you didn't have those resources at the time and you were, let's just say some individual that's in a underserved community like we come from that may not have that or may not even know that what a CPA is, and this is for the community because we want to make sure you guys understand these things. Making sure that you have a certified tax attorney, making sure that you have a lawyer and going to look over your documents and things of that nature. These are the things that we're talking about. But if you didn't know that, how difficult do you think it would have been to start that business?
It would have been impossible. I think.
Yeah.
Because again, back then, I came with barriers, and I actually overcome barriers absolutely to this day. So, it helped that I had a leg up by playing ball, and so I was in I was surrounded by a certain audience. But man, I'm just, I was like you said, man, I came from humble beginnings. I got my degree, which was a big thing.
Absolutely.
But I didn't have those resources, man. It would have been tough. I may not even have had the vision or so it would have been tough. Absolutely.
And man, that's so amazing. And I kind of want to go back and because I'm a fellow athlete here, and I'm a speak on Colonel White High School for the arts. It was an amazing place to be. But I'm gonna kind of take you back and just ask you, growing up, as I know you Jefferson High School and Hall of Famer.
Man, just recently inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, because that is such a prestigious place to be. So thinking back on that, what do you think are some of the, if you could kind of do some things different, what would you do different to prepare yourself for the life that you want to have or do have now?
Man, that's a good question. Just as a kid growing up?
Yeah.
Wow.
If anything, it might not be nothing.
Yeah. Man, I grew up with a lot of trauma, a lot of dysfunction. And, I was blessed. I was blessed and thankful for a lot of coaches in my life. A lot of people that I looked up to. A lot of people that, believe it or not, man, I work with in the entrepreneurship space or in the community now.
Absolutely.
They were my coaches growing up, the Mike Perrys and the Birds and the Shackelfords and, those guys, Sean Walton. They were all, our coaches, Dr. Robert Walker. That's a good question, man. I really have never thought about what I would do differently because back then it was just life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It was just, hey, this is what it is. I want to go to college. I know I want to go play ball. I want to get my degree, but it was just all in my face, man. But I would tap into, business resources. I would have a greater sense of how, government works.
Mm-hmm.
Had a greater sense of how, city ordinances work, with your taxes, things like that, man. I didn't know that, man. I didn't really know how that worked. So, politics, all of that.
And I asked that question because now when I look at being a parent now, and I think about what I may have done a little bit different back then, and it's for a couple of reasons. Number one is because I want to make sure I give those lessons to my children and say, okay, when I was a kid, I thought like this. Mm-hmm. And I knew that there were some things that I could do different now because I can look at it now and go back and say this. And so when I talk to them and I say, 20 years from now, you're gonna be in a different space.
Yeah.
So I look at when I was in school, I had my uncle, and I give praise to my uncle all the time, David Corbitt, one of the greatest men I ever, and I'm so glad that he was in my life because he's just one of the greatest men I ever known. And he raised me as his son. And he always was there in support. Even when I did wrong, he was just there to support me. Now, he didn't condone me doing wrong or, acting a fool on the basketball court, but he was there to support me and say, okay, that was a lesson. Now let's move on. But I remember going to the Baumberger Teen Center. That was my spot. I went to the Baumberger Teen. That's where we hung out at. Uh-huh. But just all the things that we really had at our disposal, all the recreation centers and things in every neighborhood that no longer exist. Yeah. But when I look back on all the additional programs that they had in there that I didn't take advantage of, you see what I'm like? Those are the things that I sit back and I look at and I said, I would have took advantage of more of the programs.
Yeah, but did you know of them though? Did you have somebody pointing you in that direction to say, hey, look, man, if you want to be an entrepreneur, go here?
Well, back then, I don't think entrepreneurship was even thought of as something, right. Yeah. To me, it wasn't, I know for what I was taught, it was taught as, that's just the hustle man. Like he just hustling, trying to get over.
Yeah.
Now it is really a skill. It is something that it's taught. It's a curriculum.
That's right.
It's a course. You see what I'm saying? Like entrepreneurship is something that is really taught. I mean, serial entrepreneurship, look it up in the dictionary. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's real.
And when we were in school, it was get a good education so you can get.
You had one choice.
Yeah.
You had one choice, and so for the community, because I want to make sure that we do tell everybody this. There's a three-pronged approach. So you want to look at it from higher education. That means you can go to college. You want to look at it from a skilled trade. That means you can go and get a skill certification, whether that's a CDL, a cosmetology license, a skilled trade, or you can go into direct entrepreneurship. So make sure that you understand that there's options. We want kids to go to college. There's not anybody saying, hey, don't do it this way. We just want you to know that there are options. For us, I know for me, you go to college.
Right.
Or you go in this factory and work.
Yeah.
That was it. You go to college or you go in this factory and work. And that was it. Right. And so there are so many different options for our youth now, and so much dealing with technology and dealing just with so many options. And they are really bright. They're really bright. So, when we think about entrepreneurship and we think about all these resources that are truly out there, but once again, like you said, do they know about them? Yeah. Are we really providing the resource that needs to be provided, which is knowledge, which is exposure, which is us really marketing these resources like they need to be marketed?
Yeah.
And I asked that question to you. Do you feel, because we both got kids and you got boys. You got all boys, right?
I got 5 boys.
You got 5 boys.
Yeah.
And so I have one son that is 22, and I'm proud to say that he's 22 years old. He has a CDL license. He's had that since 19. He is He has a commercial driver's license, because we want to make sure you guys understand what these acronyms mean. He does have C3 Transport Trucking Company in his name. That is his. And right now he told me that, Daddy, I want to put that on hold because I want to go back to school and get my degree. So he is currently at 22 years old. He is enrolled at University of Dayton to finish up his bachelor's degree in business and entrepreneurship. So
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's what I would do over if I had the chance to do it over again.
Yeah. But the thing for me that I love is the fact that he made those choices by himself. I gave him the tools, and that's all we can do. And I think that what we're doing now is we're allowing our children to be guided by us, give them the foundation, give them the structure, but make sure that they know that there are so many other things that they can do. And so, and I want to go back to the original question I was about to ask you, which is, do you think your children, your sons, are seeing and getting exposed to the resources, not just from you, but from, because we all in the community have a duty to give this to everybody.
Yeah.
They're being exposed to the resources.
I think so. And they all have different personalities, different directions. I think of my second oldest son, he's an entrepreneur, and I don't know if that came from me or just his exposure to things growing up. But he has that entrepreneurial bug in him. So I know, and he has that grit, man. Entrepreneurs have such a grit about them. I'm talking, they are just, determined to make it happen at all costs. And that's what he has, man. His name is Matthew. So whether it's
keep Matthew, I'm saying this to you.
Matthew,
you keep that grit, you keep that hard work, because you got it from your father.
Oh, absolutely. It's built in, it's in his blood. But I think they do in their own in their own way. And they're still growing, they're still figuring it out. Absolutely. But like you said, I think the exposure and the foundation has already been built.
Okay.
Whichever direction they go in. But I think they have that foundation there. And they got some good role models to look up to. And my brother, my uncles, cousins.
Absolutely.
When I was growing up, it was a select few. You know what I mean? Which I'm super thankful for. I could see my aunt and uncle at Ohio State. I could see my uncle at Grambling State. But that was it. But now, with my kids growing up, man, it's a common thing to see, your dad, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, everybody's going to school. They're doing, and taking their own path to be successful. So I just, like you said, that foundation and that exposure is good. And I think they're going to adopt it in their own special way. That's great.
So I kind of want to switch gears here a little bit because I want to make sure that we talk about something that is really purposeful and meaningful. And I think not only to me, but to the community. We do a program called the Power Hour. And you've been such a big supporter and such a part of the Power Hour. Yeah. And the Power Hour is a program designed to give foundational understanding to everyone, but we focus on making sure that if there are entrepreneurs out there or anybody that really wants support, really wants knowledge, really want to understand some of the things that they're going through from a foundational understanding, to build them up to be able to go into further in their entrepreneurial journey, we're there. So whether you're dealing with anything, and I mean anything, we want to make sure that we build you up and we help you so that way you're prepared for the entrepreneurial journey. So with that being said, how do you think, or was there a program that prepared you or helped you with that? And when I say that, and I'm going to dig a little deep here, with whether it was home life, whether it was grades at school, whether it was, and I'm gonna go back because I know back in the day, the things that we dealt with from a mental aspect, we didn't know that was a mental health issue. We were just taught that, you just deal with it because we understand that those were mental health issues, and that we probably needed to seek some counseling or some things like that. But do you think that there was a program back then that probably would have helped you or anything of that nature?
In terms of my entrepreneurship journey, or just
I guess before you even got to that point, because I think what we do is we get into, I've seen a lot of people get into entrepreneurship because they didn't have no choice. They're like, I'm struggling. So I'm going to sell whatever I can. Yeah. And then it kind of, I'm going to cut grass because I got a lawnmower. And and it turned into, okay, I made some money, so I'm going to keep going. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it was definitely lived experience for me, man. Mm-hmm. A lot of my ventures or even, job or career opportunities have come from a sense of connection. Like I was connected to that particular role or that particular mission because of my own experience. Okay. So, I grew up in poverty. Mm-hmm. So being a director of self-sufficiency at Community Action Partnership, that was dear to my heart. I grew up in poverty myself, so I had a personal story to tell. Yeah. I had a personal, relatable experience. And so I felt like I could connect further to the population I was working with. Having a Glover U program, every kid in there, I saw myself in. Like I said, my younger brother was, seconds away from potentially being in foster care, removed from our house, being in foster care. So I felt like I had a personal connection and opportunity there to coach and mentor kids, just like there were coaches and mentors in my life. So I felt like a lot of my roles and the role that I am in now, it's a combination of all the other things that I've done, man. Yeah. Growing up, like I said, it was a lot of pain for me and a lot of dysfunction. So I'm able to connect with that and meet people where they are. Okay. I got family members that's very close to my, close. I'm not going to, dig that deep, but I got family members that had substance abuse issues, addicted to whatever, alcohol. I have family members that's, being sexually abused, physically abused, experienced domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? And so I relate to that. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a pain pill. That's a pain point for me. Yeah. And because that's a pain point for me, I want to make that a part of my mission. It becomes important for me. You know what I mean? If I was at any of these, times in my life, if I was unhoused, it'd be important for me to make sure that people don't have to go through the same thing that I went through. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely. So that's where I've gained a lot of my direction and purpose from, is my own personal experience. And so, yeah, man. That says it all. That says it all. What advice would you give some of our younger generation, especially our males? Because I think it's very valuable that as being an adult Black male, that we really reach back and teach and really give them some of those valuable lessons and show them the way. So what is some advice that you would give some of our younger males who are looking to, or let's just say not even looking to get into entrepreneurship right just yet, but just lost, just lost. And we know a lot of them who are just lost. Mom's doing the best she can, but he's just getting into a point. And I'm a true believer in this, and I know this may not come off the best, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm a believer in us as fathers, us as males. When our boys get a certain age, we need them. We need to go get them. All the stuff that you got to the side, push it and go get your boys. And you need to take them and teach them and raise them. And I know that it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, but we got to push that to the side because there's only so much. They need us to teach them how to be a man, how to respect.
See, it's a different level of respect.
For sure, bro.
That old-fashioned respect to prepare them for hard work, perseverance, dedication, respect, love. And so I would say, what is some advice you would give?
Yeah. You know, you said it. You know, go get them. You know, allow for others to be a part of your life. You know, a lot of times young men, you know, grow up angry or mad. They're mad at mom or mad at dad. And, you know, at some point you got to learn how to channel that energy. You got to let go of that pain so you can move forward, man. You know, but some advice that I would give to young people is to write down your goals, you know, have a target and go after it, and don't let anything stop you. Allow for others to, you know, be a part of your circle. Somebody that's positive, somebody that's, you know, where you may want to be. You know what I mean? Allow people in, and learn how to be thankful for what you do have, and you know, learn how to celebrate somebody else. You know what I mean? Celebrating others is a big thing that I try to do.
Absolutely.
As much as possible, man. And celebrate differences. You know, not everybody is the same. Not everybody got the same perspective or the same outlook, but that's okay. You know what I mean? That's okay, man. That's what makes you you. And so, you know, write down a goal, find a target and go after it with tunnel vision. Allow others to be a part of your team. Let go of that pain, if you have pain, so you can move forward, you know, and work hard, man. You know, work hard. You know what I mean? No matter what area, you know, or direction you're going in, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's education but just work hard, and have a good attitude about it. You know, those were a couple of the things that, you know, I wasn't the intellectual or the scholar type, but a few things that I could control was my effort and my attitude. You know what I mean? And that's what I continue to control today is my positive outlook and my work ethic. You know, whether I know everything or not, you know, my attitude and my work ethic is going to get me there eventually. And so
I think you're 100% spot on. I think that I would say a couple things is that just making sure we hold them accountable, but we hold ourselves accountable. I think a lot of times we have expectations for our youth and our kids that we didn't have for ourselves. I think we expect him to be perfect in a sense, and we forget that we didn't get here overnight. You know, and I always remember some things. My grandmother, Miss Ivy Corbitt, I give her so much respect. I love her.
Name.
I love her so much. She would tell me, she said, you know, you didn't, it took this many years for you to perfect the mess up. You're not going to fix, you perfected the mess up. You perfected doing it wrong. You can't fix it in 15 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So now that you 40 and 50 and you finally got it right, you expect them to get it right in they 14.
Man, our kids need those. They need those critical experiences, man.
They do.
They need that.
And we need to stop. And this is for the community, because I know y'all gonna be like, yeah. But y'all gotta quit calling everything a mistake. We gotta quit doing that. Everything it's not a mistake. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. Things happen, but it's a lesson. Just because it didn't happen how you wanted it to happen, it's still a lesson.
That's right.
They can learn from it, and then they can do better. So that's when we got to quit saying, you messed up, you did wrong, you made a mistake. It ain't necessarily a mistake, it's a lesson, and let's build from that.
Yeah.
I'm a kind of go and I'm gonna get you, because I know I'm running out of time, but I just want to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
Out there at in the community, and I know you work with the community a lot. You see a lot of different individuals. What do you feel like is the biggest need in the community right now that you maybe run into the most?
It's awareness. Awareness is always, I think, a need. Mm-hmm. Even though, we've learned over the years of so many different resources, there's still a lot of people that just don't know the information. And so awareness, and then just coming together. A lot of times, man, with whether it's a program or whether it's a business, we all have our individual silos. Like, we got our individual lanes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, one of the issues that I see is the lack of collaboration. Mm-hmm. Collaboration is a good thing, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because that's how we build. That's how we build stronger and better, man, and faster. Is collaborating, and really, trusting one another and building those relationships. Mm-hmm. We still got communities that are divided, whether politically or just whatever reason. But and so that's one thing that I'm encouraged by. One thing that I want to contribute to is bring the community together, so we can collaborate and partner. Mm-hmm. I see everybody as a partner. There's an opportunity for us to build together.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Instead of apart and being in your own personal lane and silo. If there's money out there, let's go get it together. Yeah. Hey, there's enough for all of us to eat. We may be able to put an outfit together that make us stronger, so we can go after, sky's the limit.
Bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want to see, man. That's definitely what I want to see.
Great, great. How much, and I've noticed this, but I'm going to ask you, how much have you noticed financial literacy? Do you feel like it's a problem in our communities, in our neighborhoods, or do you feel like we're on target with everybody else?
I'm still encouraged and I'm inspired by the work that we're putting forth. Okay. Our financial institutions, our business resources. Financial literacy has been a hot topic the last few years. And so there's some growth there, but we still got so much more work to do.
Absolutely.
Our generation would probably say, "Oh man, we didn't learn this in school. We didn't hear about this growing up." I'll be curious to what the temperature is on, the generations behind us, because they can't. Well, I'm not gonna say they can't say that, but I'll just be curious to hear what their perspective is, because I feel like that, financial literacy is the hot topic, man.
It is.
But you can learn all the, the new, savvy ways of financial literacy all you want, man. But, to me, your financial literacy is more about behavior than, the 2+2s and the different programs. So it's more a behavior thing. So that's what I feel like financial literacy is about.
I'm 100% with you, because to me it's discipline.
Exactly.
It's discipline.
So.
And if you're not disciplined enough, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not disciplined, then it doesn't matter what you do with the money, because you're gonna lose it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% with you, man. That you got it, you got it. So, man, I want to give you an opportunity to give me a final thought. A final thought before we get out of here. Just give me a final thought.
Man, we've made progress, in several different aspects of our community. But how do we continue that push? How can we continue that fight with a lot of division, going on in this world? It happens here locally too, man. But how do we continue this fight to come together as one, celebrate differences, and celebrate each other more? There's so much more we can do when we're working together opposed to working apart, man. And so I just want to challenge everybody, the listeners, how creative can we be and celebrate one another opposed to tearing each other apart? It's so many different platforms and to expose negativity, man. How can we use our platforms such as this to celebrate people opposed to tearing them down? And so that's my challenge. That's my final thought. It wasn't much of a thought. It was just kind of a challenge. But that's it though, man. So I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate, the opportunity to be your first guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to be able to share, a little bit more about my journey. So yeah, man.
Thank you so much. So that was a phenomenal final thought. So I want to say a couple of things. I first want to thank our listeners. I want to thank the community. I want to thank everybody who's watching this. I want to make sure that you guys know that we're always about giving our people and giving any and everybody their flowers. What you do in the community and what you do for yourself and what you do for everybody else is always going to be a blessing. And we're going to look at it as just that. We want to promote and we want to congratulate. We want everybody to know that that's what we're here for. We're here to motivate and celebrate. Everything that you're doing is to build you and motivate you to be successful. If there's anything that we can do in the community to help you, please tap into our resources. Please make sure you visit us at thegwdi.com. Make sure you visit the incubator. Make sure you utilize the resources that University of Dayton and all its resource providers are out here doing to ensure that we have some of these things that we need to build your business, build your wealth, build your brand. You as an individual have to do it. We can't do everything for you, but if these resources are out here, take the initiative to go out here, sign up, and go to some of these things. You have the power. It's up to you to do what you need to do. So I also want to tell you that if nobody told you this, we love you. That's one of the biggest things. We love you. So before I get out of here, we want to make sure that you know this broadcast was brought to you by AmeriFilms. This was brought to you by a group and an individual that came together and made this possible. So make sure if anybody needs video, audio, filming, AmeriFilms is your company. So we will see you next time. Thank you again. This is No Excuse Podcast signing off.